Every parent wants their child to succeed. But here's a better question. What will your child do when they don't? Because sooner or later, they'll fail a test, lose a competition, get rejected, miss out on an opportunity, or work hard for something that simply doesn't happen. Failure isn't something we can prevent, but we can prepare our children for it. And that's often what separates people who eventually succeed from those who give up too soon. Today, I'll share 3 powerful ways to help your child handle failure in a way that makes them stronger. And the final lesson is one that many adults never learn. 1. Don't rush to erase the disappointment. When our children fail, our first instinct is to make them feel better. It's okay. You'll get it next time. It doesn't matter. Those words come from love. But sometimes, they unintentionally send another message. Let's move past this as quickly as possible. Instead, let your child experience disappointment.
Sit with them.
Listen more than you speak. Let them cry if they need to. Let them say,
I'm upset.
I really wanted this. Disappointment isn't dangerous. Avoiding disappointment is. It's part of being human. When children learn they can survive difficult emotions without running from them, they become emotionally stronger. They discover that failure hurts, but it doesn't define them. And once the emotions settle, that's when the real learning begins. Because what happens next determines whether failure becomes a stopping point or a stepping stone. 2. Turn every failure into an investigation. After emotions calm down, resist the urge to lecture. Instead, become curious together. Ask questions like, what do you think went well? What would you do differently next time? What did this experience teach you? Notice that you're not asking, who's to blame? You're asking, what can we learn? That's a completely different mindset. Imagine your child doesn't make the football team. Instead of saying, you're just as good as everyone else, help them reflect. Do you think there are skills you could improve? What would your training look like if you wanted to try again next season? Now, failure has become feedback. And feedback is something they can use. But there's one final lesson that ties everything together. It's what keeps children moving forward even after repeated setbacks. 3. Teach them that one failure is never the final chapter. Children often think in extremes. I failed, so I'll never be good at this. That's why they need a bigger perspective. Remind them that every story is chapters. One difficult chapter doesn't tell you how the book ends. Share examples from everyday life. The child who struggled to read eventually became the strongest reader in class. The athlete who sat on the bench kept practicing and later earned a starting position. The student who failed one exam still graduated with confidence because they refused to quit. Progress rarely happens in a straight line. Real growth is often messy. Sometimes growth looks like falling, getting back up, learning, and taking one more step. Teach your child to ask, what's my next step? Not, should I give up? That simple question keeps hope alive. Your child's future won't be determined by how many times they fail. It will be shaped by what they believe failure means. If they see failure as proof they're not good enough, they'll stop trying. But if they learn to see failure as a teacher, a lesson, a temporary setback, then every challenge becomes an opportunity to grow. As parents, we can't promise our children a life without failure. But we can raise children who know how to stand back up every single time. And that's a gift they'll carry with them for the rest of their lives. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What's one failure that taught you a lesson you'll never forget? Let's keep building. Click the video on your screen to learn how to raise a child who loves learning for life, not just for school. Because the way a child handles failure is deeply connected to how they see learning, either as something to fear or something to grow from. I'll see you there.